there, YouTubers. Welcome back to episode, I think, number 3. This is going to be number 3 of the Tracker Nitro 2000 DC restoration. So I've done a little bit of cleaning on the boat. I dug it out of its hiding hole back there. I drug it out, took it up to the house. I got most of the trees and growy things out of it for the most part. And I kind of wanted to get to that point just to kind of assess the rest of the hull, especially on the inside. And I found some more things, but essentially this episode is going to be taking the engine off. Mercury 150, cylinder number 1, rings got chewed up, or the head gasket went and then the rings got chewed up. So I'm actually going to attempt to rebuild it just because I can. I ain't got nothing in it. Like I said, I'll probably have about $400 or $500 in rebuildable parts. But if I can get it to fire, hey, it's another pat on my back. I've never done it before, so hey, here's to trying. So anywho, I got the boat backed up to my smaller garage. I got the engine hoist back here, and hopefully I have enough room between the top of the header and get the engine off. Yeah, so we're gonna see what happens. All right, guys. So, lift ring. God, I don't remember. I got this when I had my 150 XR6 Mercury. I had to use, I don't remember what I had to use. Oh, trim pump. So I've had that for a while, and I do believe that this is like a universal lift ring for Mercury. This motor's a 84. I actually bought this for a 2006 and it actually worked out really, really well. So the wrench that I used is a 1 1/4, and that's what fits that. So next thing I can do is see if we can't get the hook high enough. I have to trim the motor down, figure that out, get this piece off. The trim pump kind of works, but I have to get the transom saver off and see if we can't get this to trim the motor down. Okay, so in order to get the engine up, I have to use the tilt trim pump. This was, I believe, a 2-wire pump system, and this is one of the older single rams. Because I don't have the motor, like I said, I'm just using a regular drill. The drill is set to forward, and essentially I've got it's crammed in there now. It's a socket head. All right, perfect. So this way I can get the transom saver off, I think. More. There we go. So, and the pump itself, like I said, I've got the standard, Mercury power trim and steering fluid is what they call it. So, essentially I just filled up the reservoir. That's where you fill it. It's got a little a needle on it, a little indicator with how much fluid that you have in there, and it takes a while for it to circulate back and forth. This is a bleed valve up through here. This is where you add fluid. And again, like I said, it's very simple hydraulic system. Fluid goes in, pushes the motor up, fluid goes out, sucks it back down. So now that I have the engine up to the point where I can get the toter out, I'm going to reverse direction And now get the motor down so we can get the hook on it. And it takes a while. You can see it's slowly going down. And I didn't bleed this system at all. I just put fluid in it and started with the drill. Hopefully I don't run out of battery. It went up a lot faster than when it's going down, but I think I need to trim this all the way back in, all the way back down as far as I can go. Well, looks like the, I don't know if that's the seal going bad on the pump or if that's just water in there. It's got a lot of pressure in it, I can tell you that. Acorn. You see that? And that's all the way in because it won't turn anymore. So in all fairness to the pump, I did wash the boat. There was a lot of water. The trim pump was sitting back in the splash well where there was a lot of water, so I never bled the system of water. I just added more fluid, so that's probably why it was a little hooky going up and back. There's probably some water in the system, but whatever. You get it up, you get it down. It's where it needs to be now. So next thing I am going to do is see if I can't get hoist onto ring. All right, finally got it in here. This is a tight fit, so I think I have about 4 inches of lift, which should be good. Chain has tension, that's good. So I have to, the steering line is already loose, but I don't know what I have to do to physically get it out. The switch, there's no wiring. The only other thing I have to worry about is the hydraulic lines. And I'm going to try to leave them intact. I can't see. They're there by the pump. It looks like everything should come off. Everything should come off okay. It's really a tight fit in here too. So you can see half the boat is jacked in here. So it's a hydraulic pump. So taking off the bolts, that'll take a couple minutes, and then see if we can't get this sucker removed. Alright, so I just got a little 3/4 inch wrench. That's what these bolts should be. 1, 2, and then 3, 4 on the other side. This one seemed a little stuck. I may have to get back in the other side of the transom. This one feels like it'll come out. Same thing with the other top one. The bottom one feels like it's stuck in there. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get the bottom ones out first. That one's just spinning. I don't want to take them all the way off yet. Just want to take it so I can break it loose, and then I'll pull it back, see, make sure I can get the steering line out. That one's coming out nice. Shot some PB Blaster on that one too. Try the bottom one here. And we got to see if we can get this one off. That one needs to go. Need something on the inside of that one, so. Okay, so that's the one that we need to get a grip on. One came through okay. There was that one, and that one came out okay. So let's see if we can't get something to bite on that one. Whew. All right. Got that booger off. Sitting down there on the floor. And still going to loosen these up. I tried to unthread them from the back. It didn't work too well. So apparently there's still some tension on them. So I'm going to try to wheel the engine and see if I can't separate it, but I still have to take the steering out. So see how this goes. There's nothing else holding it on, but I don't know why it's stuck. It needs a little persuasion. I don't want to have to do it, but I know what you're saying, but I gotta do some work on the transom anyway. So, all right, all the nuts are off. So. All right, it's free. Still have it. Knock the steering out. Once I got those two out. Let's see if I can get that on the engine stand. Hopefully it holds. I just made mine out of 2x4s. Basically there's two 2x4s on the bottom, 3-ply here, doubled it up here, 2x12. It's about 24 inches wide, braced it up on the sides for the main part, and I actually put some bracing down there on the bottom. Got some standard casters. I actually bought this from a gentleman today. It was too small, so I actually had to raise it up about 7-8 inches just to make sure that it would clear to the bottom there. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it fits and it works. So, and hopefully it's stout enough. I don't know. We'll see. Well, that's going to be a problem. Problem number one. The legs on the engine hoist are too narrow, and the top arm actually needs to be extended, say at least a foot, in order to swing and get the engine on there. Okay, 'cause I can't put this in any further. All right, so as you can see, we finally got the engine off. I'm gonna flip the camera around here and show you what we had to finagle, some things to kind of look out for. Hindsight being 2020, some things that I didn't really see that made this a little bit more difficult than what it should have been. Okay, so my height is about 45 inches from the ground to the top of that plate, and my width is about 27.5 inches from this side of the 2x4 to about that side of the 2x4. So one of the things that that I measured on the boat that was really difficult to try to determine is I just assumed from this back plate to this tab was 3 inches. It's actually about 2.5. So when we first went to set this down, obviously it wouldn't grab. So we had to notch out this little piece here. This is about a 1/2 inch, give or take. And we cut it down about 3/4 of an inch just to make sure that that tab and that tab would just kind of brace on so that the midsection had something to kind of fall on without it falling back on itself. So the other problem that I ran into is because I was doing this by myself, my engine hoist, well, not mine, but the engine hoist that I was using, when I originally started this, I had, as you can see, I had the boat backed in, and these legs extended far underneath the boat so that I didn't have to extend this bar out that much. It was actually extended maybe 12 inches or so, which provided enough leverage to pick the top of the motor up. That was great. But the problem was because this is 27.5 inches here, it would not fit in between these legs. So I could not get the engine centered on the stand by myself. Had a buddy come down, he actually helped me. What we ended up doing is we offset the stand. So essentially what we did is we put one leg on the inside and we put that leg on the outside of this one. We shortened this one up because what I did is I triple stacked the 2x4s under here, 1, 2, 3, so that the height, including the wheels and the two pieces of 2x4, provided enough clearance in here that it would go over top of the leg. So that way I could move the engine stand in and out to make sure that I had enough clearance. Well, that still wasn't enough. So we actually had to rest the engine on the side as far over as we could get it because you can't twist these. I got a little bit of twist from the eyelet, but not enough swing, I guess, to have enough leverage to center the engine up on the stand. So what we had to do was actually lower the engine down to the ground. We put the skag on a floor jack just to kind of help it like pivot, so that we could move the lower unit in to provide the O-ring or the lift ring to go back out this way. And so what we did is we extended this bar out as far as we possibly could. There's probably about another 6 or 7 inches in there. So concept being 2020, even though you want to make sure that you allow yourself enough room so that you can, once you get everything done and disconnected. So we extended this top bar out as far as we could, and we still had to position the stand kind of cattywampus. It wasn't exactly centered in between here because it was just too narrow. So yeah, that's one way to do it. I still have my hydraulic pump hooked up because what's going to happen is, even though this looks, I was thinking about this morning, so this looks probably taller than what it needs to be. But in hindsight, this is probably going to work out good because what I'm going to end up doing, I have to remove the power head. That's why I still have the hoist. But then when I remove the power head, I'm still going to have to drop the lower unit. And so that extra 12 inches between the skag and the floor is about perfect. If I have to tilt the engine up, that's why I still have my hydraulic pump hooked up. And hopefully that makes things a little bit easier. So there it is. Slow process, but we're still moving on. I'm doing what I can with what I got, and appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, if you want to see the whole project, like I said, stay tuned. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if this video was helpful to you. Give me a thumbs up, and if you want to see more content, make sure that you hit that notification bell so that when I do post new videos that you all will be the first to know. So until then, catch y'all the next one.